All right, it's a pleasure to have you back on the press this morning on Captain Television. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is the press, and we haven't kind of reeled out all the headlines making waves this morning. And like I told you, is now the other part of the segment where I get to talk to a guest, an analyst in most cases, and I do have a political and, of course, a public analyst in the person of Sardauna this morning joining me on the show. It's a pleasure to have you join me this morning. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Princess, and the entire crew of Captain Television.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm sure you've skimmed through some of the headlines making the wave, and if you look clearly, you notice the biggest ones is on politics, and I'm talking about the recent PDP zoning to the south. Now, there's been, aside from that, there's been different talks from different corners as to why it was zoned. Some are speculating that they are trying to see if they could bring the likes of Jonathan, Peter Obi, and Amechi back to the PDP fold. And then some northern forum are also kicking against it, talking about the constitution, talking about constitutional right when it comes to zoning concerns. So my question now is, how might this zoning decision affect the PDP support base, particularly in the northern regions?
Princess, thank you again for having me this early morning. It has no any negative impacts in the northern part of the country per se. The reasons behind it is that an ordinary people might think it is a wrong calculation, but I have this in my belief for long. If PDP want to survive and really survive and make an impact in the 2027 election, they have to strategize, plan, and work toward their planning. And I think this is one of the advantages they have now taken. The Northerners are there in the working committee or the national, what do we call it, NEC meeting. And the decision was taken boldly. The national chairman is from the north. So when somebody is saying from the north that no, this has not favored the north or whatever, it is just a political gimmicks, maybe to give an advantage over some other parties, maybe the newly formed coalition party, ADC, under the leadership of former Senate President Senator David Mark, to maybe have an edge. But when you are talking about giving an opportunity to a Southerner, and this time around for someone to come in, I have been having this in my notion in my mind that if PDP are very smart, that is what they will do. And for your information, who do you think they are trying to lure in? It is not more than the former President Jonathan, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. And be rest assured, if Jonathan will going to be a candidate from PDP comes 2027, Princess, you will see wonders from the northern part of the country. I know who are my people. I know them very well. I am just saying it because I know they can make an impact, because they believe that during Jonathan you can buy a bag of rice at the rate of 7,500 naira. But after he left, the bag of rice have started from that 7,000 to almost 30,000 before Muhammad Buhari left. And then later, when this government comes, at the early stage, first year to almost half of 1.5 year, the bag of rice, 50 kg, was around 105,000. You know what it means. And Nigerians are just living how to have their daily bread every day. And when they are remembering the goodies of Jonathan, then you think they will allow you to pass? It will going to be a very good fight between the APC ruling party and PDP if they Provincial bring, who is he, Mr. Former President Jonathan, into the contest as a candidate of PDP. And a lot of people, even who's moved to ADC, will come back because this man has no problem with anybody. He has no enemy. He's just like water. That is what I count Mr. Jonathan with. He is just like a water that doesn't have an enemy. I think you know that very soon. Yes, when you are, that water does not have an enemy. So in this calculation, I will tell you authoritatively in my own perspective that PDP has done a very well calculated attempt. The only thing, whenever they did this thing and they allowed somebody to take over the party without bringing Jonathan back, I'm just telling you that there is no anybody that can contest with Mr. President Ahmed Bola Tinubu in this dispensation if it is not Jonathan. The only body that will going to contest and give him a good fight, I don't think he can even win the election from any other party than Atiku Abubakar. But if you are talking about Jonathan, wonders will going to appear comes 2027. This is my take on.
All right, thank you very much. You know, they do actually blamed the fact that they fielded Atiku for the 2023 election, which of course brought a failure for them. Well, in light of the internal disagreements they're having, how can the PDP ensure cohesion and present a united front ahead of the 2027 election? Remember that every good democracy needs a strong opposition for everybody to stand on their toes. What would you advise?
Okay, I will not say anything far from what everybody knows. What am I trying to say is this: when it was about to go for election, when PDP had their last congresses, national congresses, they brought former Senate President, a former 2 or 3 times minister, and nobody danced. Dr. Ayu, if you could remember vividly. By so doing, they have brought somebody with experience. They brought somebody that has an experience, knows each nook and crannies of Nigeria, length and breadth of the country, have a preference across the nation, both left and right, and very aging person. One of the importance and advantages that anybody will going to take is to bring a nationalist who knows very well what is Nigeria, where Nigeria is coming from, where Nigeria is heading to. But most of the presence, if they make a mistake, look, what affected the present situation in PDP is bringing of Damagum. Damagum is not aging. Damagum has never been a governor. Damagum has never been a senator. Damagum was lucky to be what do we call it, in the political empire, and was taken. You know, whenever you are bringing a deputy in the global politics, you see that they normally bring mostly in Africa people that are inexperienced. But let me tell you, most of the times the A and B plans must be very accurate in the developed countries. When former President Barack Obama of United States emerged as a president, the question was this: the journalist asked him, you doesn't have international political experience or global experience. How would you going to run your government? He said, that is why I brought Joe Biden, if you could remember. Because he was telling you, Joe Biden was in the parliament, that is assembly, for good 31 to 34 years. It is enough for him to gather the momentum of both national and international experience. And by so doing, the government of Barack Obama did very well. So coming back to Nigeria, when you pick somebody like Ayochia at the past, he bring cohesion in the party, bring mutual understanding, bring a lot of realities. And before you can know it, primaries took over, though there was a lot of hinges or hurdles during the primaries, which brought Atiku as a candidate. But notwithstanding, still they were making a headway. But the moment Atiku agreed that now he is from the north, and let what is his name be removed and bring another person from the south, and that was one of the problems that affected the present minister of FCT with Atiku. First, they promised him there will be a Southern national chairman, which he will going to be given an opportunity to bring that Southern national chairman, because it can't go well when there is a candidate from the north and the chairman of the party is coming from the north, which Ayochia is coming from the north, Benue State. Then he accepted that. Then again, after the primaries, again they told him that he will going to be their vice president. That is the running mate to the Atiku Abubakar, and still that one has been failed, and that is why he kicked against it and he created G5. If you remember, yes, G5 governors, and he succeeded in. If hadn't been, he was not against APC at that moment. Those 5 governors come together and they work assiduously with their party. Do you know that Atiku might emerge as a president of the 2023. Okay, come back. Let me tell you something. When the last president, led Muhammadu Buhari, was having an acting chairman, that was present governor of Yobe State, Mai Malabuni, he was not aging. He's just a governor and once a secretary to the party. And apart of being a secretary to the party, he was a chairman of the party of then ADC, ACN at Yobe State. But you know, that political experience and momentum is not there. So what they did was, before he came in, you remember that was Senator Oshomole, Adam Oshomole. And you know the crisis that strive in because of a lot of inexperience. He wanted to run the party like an organization where he came from as a Labour Party, a Labour chairman, Congress chairman, and later became a governor. And once you became a governor, you are an executive personnel who can run some organization, his state, like an organization. That is the caliber of Nigerian citizens. Okay, because of that age, I want to bring you back that Buhari was very careful. He realized that this person was even overthrown by some governors and brought Abubakar Sani Bello from Niger State, former governor of Niger State. But Buhari was in his last trip when he was that sick. So he wrote a letter that no, my Mala remained authentic because it's going to affect their congresses. So at the end of the day, Adamu Abdullahi was brought, a former secretary to the NPN 1979 to 83, a former minister, 2 times minister during the military governments, a former 2 times governor, and a serving senator. Age experience is there. Mind you, he was not supporting present president. He was supporting the former Senate president. But behold, after his person has lost in the primaries, and Tinubu emerged as a president, as a candidate of the APC. They work together because of the political experience and aging. When Tinubu is removing him, he brought an aging person who was a deputy national secretary to defunct Kano NPN in 1979 to 83, and later a civil servant and retired as a director, 2 times governor, 6 times commissioner. That is Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. And he managed the party for some times, and now they are bringing somebody at the age of 56. If chaos is not taken, that is where they will going to have the brouhaha.
All right, very much, Haruna. Thank you for that detailed chronicle you gave us. Because of time, we actually will be wrapping up by 10 today, as against 10:30, our usual time. We apologize for that. So because of time, Haruna, I want you to quickly touch on, just maybe in a minute, each for these questions I'll be asking you, so we'll be able to wrap up immediately. The president actually made a statement claiming that Nigeria is financially stronger with reduced corruption. How do you assess the current economic and anti-corruption efforts by him? Okay,
Princess, I am not a president. Maybe he has his own indices of seeing what economy is, because the level the National Bureau for Statistics has been giving us.
But so, you're a citizen of this country. I believe that with economy we could feel it.
Yes, I will agree with him with in one way and disagree with him in the other way.
Okay.
In the first place is that before now, last year, the economic indices, when you go to market, there are differences. You can feel it by yourself. In the back of rice that you are buying 105, now it is around 65,000. If you go to ordinary grains, maize and whatever, those things that you are buying 80,000, today is around 30 something. If you go to Kaduna State, around Saminaka and some areas of Katsina, the even maize is around, a new one is about 17,000 with millets. So automatically, when he is saying that the economy is is doing very good, just recently the National Bureau for Statistics said that we have our foreign reserve has hit 41 billion within some 6 months and whatever. But notwithstanding, we knew that there is no more subsidy, whether in our electrical bill, in our petroleum, that is oil sector. So if there is no economic indices that is growing, we can question him. Then coming back to the other side of the corruption. Yes, somebody like Beta Edu was removed, and a lot of people are under question. Like now, the state that I come from, that is Kano State, one of the director protocol account was found, there was 6.5 billion was found in some of his account, and these accounts were freeze. You look at what is the immediate past NNPCL's GMD, Melekari account, 4 of them were freeze. A lot of things are going like that, and what we are hoping for is not only the freezing, it's not only the talking that yes we have stopped. No, some people should serve serve with justice. What do I mean is that the judiciary section so imprison some people because they need to learn a lesson. Let people know that there must be a reward, either negative or positive reward, my dear princess.
All right, let's talk about concerning the ASUU strike. I believe that every Nigerian will be tired of hearing about ASUU all the time. It's quite pathetic that every single time we're talking about ASUU with impending strike, with government not meeting up or what their quota or whatever MOU that was signed between them. Now my question is, what are the implications of this move on the education sector? Already we are seeing so many decline in education sector, and in some schools I hear that they are actually writing exams at the moment.
Princess, what I want you to understand is that most of the claims that the ASUU are claiming is something that's subject to about 20 years even.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, a lot of governments has came in before this present government, and some have a lot of meetings with this ASUU. And I don't know, there are some money given to ASUU during the late president in number. For example, there was billions of nairas given to ASUU for research and whatever development in the universities. Instead, they went and shares that money, buying bosses and some other stuff for their senior professors in the universities in Nigeria. But behold, let me tell you, I had one day a conversation between the JAM boss, that is Professor, I think, Ayodele or something like that. The JAM boss, you know him very well. Yes, I do. Then with the VC of Edahosa University, with one Professor Ali Pantami, the former Minister of Communication, when they were having morning show in a one program. And the VC was trying to criticize that the universities are underfunded. He said, no, stop. I was a VC. And this VC that I'm talking about, I know what I'm saying. I makes the mass communication department to be a very wonderful course in University of Ilorin when I was a VC. He stated how he developed that by giving to the student an advantage of 2 years to pay laptops that they will own, and they were successful. And he said what people are saying that the education level in Nigeria is not something to write home about. He says it's a lie. All he is praying that let not Nigerian education turn to be like some of this country in the world. They asked him question, precisely he mentioned UK, that the education of UK is nothing to write home about. You will come in leave Nigeria with EAA level, that is pass. When you get there, you find that you that student become the best student in UK or in US, in any country. So telling Nigerians that their education is not strong or is not, what do we call it?
Can be a par with others.
It is a lie. We are not appreciating Nigeria, and that is why we are losing what we call patriotism. I have seen a video where a small boy, when he is crying, the mother will just praise the national anthem of that very country, and that is China. Then the boy will just stand up and do like this and salute. Until, and you know, they have a very good long national anthem that reaches 4 minutes. Before that 4 minutes will come, the mother has finished some certain things. What we are saying is that let Nigerian ASUU have something in mind, that Nigeria is for us, is for everybody. If we have no any other country than Nigeria, and let the national the government look into these matters, and because very fair, just and egalitarian to this very ASUU organization, and give them those who belong to them, even if it is not all, and let them understand going to strike is not going to serve. You have just mentioned that some people are writing exam. The pupils in FCT are writing exam. after having a strike for about 3 to 4 months before they were later called back. On this situation, I want to tell you that the universities coming to IPPIS have now stopped, were removed now from IPPIS, and that was what caused what we are talking about now, the NEL fund. That is that, what do we call it, that student loan, yes, that introduced by the president. And is it everybody that is opportune to have that, even if you are a less privileged citizen? But there are some people that are not less privileged citizens. They doesn't borrow. I want to tell you that if this is true, that other less privileged citizens cannot able to borrow, then we are in danger. But if everybody will going to have an access to that very borrowing, so long he is a less privileged citizen in the university, I am telling you that the universities must know that they have lost their first part of contribution. When before now, when they are collecting the money of undergraduate, postgraduate, with some programs that are maybe international and whatever, you go to some of these universities, you will see that it is only TED fund will come and rehabilitate and build a new thing. But these people, like by Ahmad Bello University, I think last year they are owing over billions of nairas of electricity bills with the money that they are collecting from the undergraduate, postgraduate. This postgraduate, you know what I'm talking about, the postgraduate diploma, masters, whatever special courses, PhD and others. And it is the biggest university in Africa, not in Nigeria. Where are they taking the money to? And if nobody is asking this question, when are we going to get it right? Then do you understand the word I use, patriotism? That is where we are losing. We have to taught Nigerians, our children, you can't give what you doesn't have.
Definitely.
Yes, and that is the problem of Nigeria.
Definitely.
We must have Nigeria at heart and feel that we have no any other country than Nigeria. We are coming together, put hands on the deck to salvage the problems against the future of unborn yet children.
All right. I love how you ended your commentary there. Do appreciate you for coming. I've been here with Haruna Sardauna. He is a public and political analyst. Thank you so much for all your insight on some of the headlines we shared today. Sadly, we were not able to take calls for you to be a part of it. We do apologize once again for that. Do bear with us, but definitely tomorrow, hopefully we'll have maximum time to discuss the press with you today. But this is where we hang the curtain for today's program. Thank you so much for being a part, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Remember to stay safe and keep hydrated. Bye for now. I am Princess Ekezie Okoli.